There's already this idea, this allegation that there is anti-conservative bias on the platforms, even though there has been study after study proving, in fact, that often it's liberal voices that are being silenced, particularly minority voices on social media.
Bruh.
Ideologically, it does not make sense, like, because we're actually censoring the right, not the left. Because everyone on the right wing will be like, bro, it's okay to say, just gotta tolerate it. The left will be like, no, I'm not gonna tolerate it. I need it censored, or else I'm not gonna be on platform. So it does serve the right.
Look at that. I was right. Note the lack of surprise.
Hey guys, so I'm sure you all know that free speech has been a big issue ever since the SJW movement started, and I've been making videos about it ever since then as well. And one of the biggest things you'll hear is that conservatives get censored more than liberals, which is a true statement. However, here's an article that we're going to be responding to and explaining, and it's going to contradict what I just said because the title is "Data Shows a Surprising Campus Free Speech Problem. Left-wingers being fired for their opinions." Well, what do you mean? Left-wingers are being fired and censored? I think you mean right. The American college campus, we are led to believe, is a dangerous place. If you say what you really think, particularly as a conservative, a mob of young SJWs will come for your faculty position or invitation to speak on campus. Entire books and online magazines are premised on the idea that political correctness is sweeping the American university, threatening both higher education and the broader right to free speech. That's all true. But a data analysis from March by the director of Georgetown University's Free Speech Project, now keep in mind, this is just one university doing this, so even if it's free, if it's true at that university, doesn't mean liberals are censored at other schools, suggests that this crisis is more than a little overblown. There have been relatively few incidents of speech being squelched on college campuses, and there is in fact limited evidence that conservatives are being unfairly targeted. Free Speech Project's researchers had cataloged more than 90 incidents since 2016 that fit their criteria for a person's free speech rights being threatened. Of those 90, about 2/3 took place on college campuses. These incidents range from a speaker being disinvited to a faculty member being fired over allegedly offensive comments to a student-run play being canceled over concerns it would offend. Now, here's where we have to debunk it. We have to factor in a few things that are not being factored in this article. It's talking about free speech that actually occurs at these events. We're not just talking about students protesting outside. It's not talking about that. It's talking about during like speeches and stuff. And as you may know, many conservatives who actually want to go to campuses and do a talk, like Milo Yiannopoulos, they're not allowed in. When they have gone, they've been booed off the stage, and for the most part, they're not even allowed to go back. See, the schools try to keep conservatives from even going there. So naturally, the number will be higher if there's very few talks being done by conservatives. Like, that's the most important point, and it seems to be ignored. Of course, the free speech stuff will either support or be against a liberal if you only have liberals going there, right? You can't censor the free speech of a conservative if they're not even there to begin with, right? And that's one of the points they're ignoring. The raw numbers here should already raise questions about the so-called political correctness epidemic. According to the Department of Education, there are 4,583 colleges and universities in the U.S. The fact that there were roughly only 60 incidents in the past 2 years suggests that free speech crises are extremely rare events. See, that's wrong too. Only 60 incidents were actually, considered to be occurring. But then again, what criteria does it need to fit to be considered an incident? See, keep in mind that all this corruption happens at college and university. There have been many cases of people being shut down, interrupted, booed off stage, etc. But what if there's an incident of a protest and there's a bunch of white people trying to go to school? There actually were a bunch of incidents where a bunch of white kids were just trying to get to class, and these stupid SJWs are protesting, not even allowing them into the school because, oh, white people are evil, get out of here. There was like protests like that. And even if we focus on, actual events like speeches, many times there might be something that happens at the speech, but they don't consider it an incident. It may be an incident and somebody's being booed off the stage or told to shut up or whatever, but they may not actually consider it to be an incident. So therefore, 60 is just what they consider. They didn't actually write here, well, what is considered to be a violation of free speech? Is it any form of, no, you can't talk? Or does the person need to actually be attacked? They don't specify. And I can tell you right now that 60 is not true. If we just look at YouTube videos of people in various speeches from Milo or whoever just filming, I can literally find more than 60 incidents just by going on YouTube and linking them in my description. I could find more than 60. So to tell me that you only found 60 across almost 5,000 universities in the last 2 years is bullshit. When you say 60, you're obviously talking about certain types of incidents and you're not putting all of them, which you should be. So there is some bias in this article and I don't buy it. Okay, now the next article literally talks about the speakers that they're referring to, and they're the conservative ones. And it says Milo Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro, Charles Murray, and Ann Coulter. Okay, but what about all the censorship towards students? Conservative students who just want to talk or ask a question from the audience. See what I'm saying? It's not considering the censorship of those people. It's only considering the censorship of the speakers and not people in the audience. But that's, you can't just talk about censorship and only mention them. That's not right. Anyway, I don't buy this article, but what I will tell you is this. Free speech now is not conservative versus liberal. It's conservative and liberal versus SJWs. People need to understand that SJWism and liberalism are not the same thing anymore. SJW is pseudo-liberalism. And we need to understand who we're really fighting against here. It's SJWs.
People are starting to leak shit now? Like, what?
Unfortunately, it would be like you recording me right now and giving it to like the New York Times and like, here, I just had dinner with the Twitter representative. Here's what he had to say. I just had a whole thing. Look at it. You see where it's from?
Corporate security.
Targeting of tweets.
Wait.
You can read it.
Let me see. And how to protect yourself. Groups like Project Veritas are active right now. Is that?
It's like some group that's trying to just out the employees. Like they're trying to go on dates with them like this and record them and then go sell it to the New York Times and say this is what the Twitter employee just said. Like this is what's really happening. This is what they're telling us to not do. You're lucky that you met me organically because I would be questioning everything about you.